Welcome back to the show. So, former Trump strategist Steve Bannon, when he's not fighting off criminal charges for a build-the-wall money laundering scheme or fighting off charges for contempt of Congress having to do with the January 6th Capitol riots, he hosts a TV and radio show on Real America's Voice called The War Room, wherein he tries to build up an audience of Trump supporters, and his thing is to really appeal to the gung-ho ones, the ones who believe that Trump is the savior and Trump really won the 2020 election, but if he was, of course, robbed by Joe Biden and the Democrats and voter fraud and all of this nonsense. Now, I think that Steve Bannon is an obvious grifter. He pretends to be one of these anti-establishment, anti-elitist folks when at the same time he has degrees from Georgetown and Harvard, and he used to work at Goldman Sachs and in Hollywood. But his thing is to scam diehard Trump supporters into thinking that he's one of them, right? He's a true working-class American kind of guy, and sometimes he quite literally scams people if you look at that money laundering scheme that he allegedly did. Well, Bannon is always trying to build up some media attention, always trying to make a headline and some recognition for himself, and he's done it yet again, this time by supporting Fox host Jesse Watters in his time of need. Now, Watters, as we talked about on the show this week, he went to a TPUSA conference called America Fest, and Watters used this strong rhetoric against Dr. Anthony Fauci, implying, without directly saying, that people should hunt down Fauci and kill him. Watters said stuff like, "Boom, he is dead," ambush, and kill shot. Now, Watters was speaking metaphorically, of course, but it's clear what he was doing, and it's incredibly irresponsible given the fact that Fauci and his family have received a tremendous amount of death threats over the past couple of years, mainly from Trump supporters, and he's obviously worried for his safety. He's worried about some crazy Trump supporter attacking him, so Watters' words definitely add some fuel to the fire there, and Fauci followed up by saying that Fox should fire Jesse Watters for his comments, but of course, Fox News is not going to do that. They're going to stick by their guy. Farron talked about this story earlier this week if you want to check that clip out. But now, Steve Bannon is getting in on the fun. He is piling on, and he can see that Jesse Watters got some attention from all of this, and now Bannon wants to share in some of that spotlight. I'd imagine that Bannon no longer wants to be relegated to the likes of Real America's Voice, and he wants to be now a Fox News host, or he wants some sort of primetime radio job or something like that. So let's take a look at what Steve Bannon had to say, his perspective on this controversy, and then we'll follow up on the other end.
Look at Jesse Watters. Great Jesse Watters sitting up there telling exactly what you do. And Fauci misdirects. I've only told everybody, it's about you funding the Chinese Communist Party PLA lab, you liar. You're going to be held accountable, and your buddy, your partner, Colin's with it. Collins can run away. He's leaving. We're getting him, and we're getting you. You're going to be held accountable and responsible for what you've done, Tony. Short commercial break. We'll be back with Darren Beatty, Ben Harnwell.
So he says that Jesse Watters is a great guy, and he says that we're getting you having to do with Anthony Fauci, all of this aggressive stuff with the religious Christmas music going on in the background. That really was quite the contrast there, I have to say. And obviously, these threats don't amount to what you would need for criminal charges or anything like that, nor should they. This definitely falls under free speech because they are veiled threats after all. But you always have to be on the lookout for a stochastic terrorism event. There is a real possibility that someone in Watters' audience or Bannon's audience, they could hear these words, the ambush comment, kill shot, we're getting you, etc., and decide that these are calls to action, and they could decide to take action into their own hands and carry out something really egregious against Anthony Fauci over them. And we've seen it happen before with different people. We've seen it with members of Glenn Beck's audience. We've seen it with Bill O'Reilly's audience. If you have an audience of thousands of people or millions of people, and they watch you every day and they believe what you say, there's a chance that maybe just one person can really take those words to heart, and maybe they're not the most mentally stable, and they decide that they're going to view it as a call to action, and they could go out and kill someone because of the words that you said there. And so you have a responsibility to your audience and society more broadly not to be doing that stuff and not to be speaking so recklessly. And just a final point, because Bannon is now making a career off of sucking up to Donald Trump, acting like this big pro-Trump guy, and trying to appeal to his supporters. Did everyone forget that Donald Trump turned on this guy a while ago? Like, not only did Trump fire Steve Bannon after the Charlottesville incident for being toxic, he also released the following statement about him after it came out that Michael Wolff used Steve Bannon as a source for the book Fire and Fury. Quote, Michael Wolff is a total loser who made up stories in order to sell this really boring and untruthful book. He used sloppy Steve Bannon, who cried when he got fired and begged for his job. Now sloppy Steve has been dumped like a dog by almost everyone. Too bad. So this is Steve Bannon's life now, I guess. He has to make a living off of sucking up to Trump, who fired him and publicly ridiculed him. He has to try to appeal to the lowest common denominator of Trump supporters and reassure them all of their worldview. It's pathetic stuff, but that's exactly who Steve Bannon is.
A few things I talk about frequently. Government surveillance of private citizens, big tech corporations following you around online, tracking done by ISPs of users. All of these parties can see things that you're doing online if they can see your IP address. That's why you should hide your IP address using Atlas VPN. It's only $1.39 a month. You install it, click one button, it stays on, and you forget about it. Masking your IP address like this also lets you watch content on streaming platforms only available in other countries. It's really easy. It also helps keep you safe from hackers and online identity theft. You can use Atlas VPN's data breach monitor to see if your personal info or passwords have been exposed in online leaks. And don't forget, you can also give Atlas VPN as a gift. Atlas VPN is having a special holiday sale. You get 86% off, comes out to $1.39 a month. Plus, you'll get 3 months free. Go to atlasv.pn/Pacman and use the promo code Pacman.